Alrighty, I got my cup of coffee and some yard work to do later on. So, here I am recording another one of these. We are like pretty deep into summertime at this point, and we got some harvests coming up. But we need to start getting our kegs in order so we can actually start processing all the starfruit we have. So that's pretty much what we're going to start doing. It won't look that much different because it's mostly just waiting for oak resin. But we'll also be getting a little bit more copper and a little bit more iron too. And we're also like slowly planting some more summer seeds just to boost up the foraging level, since we're a little lower on that than we should be, kind of. And we don't have much else. I guess we have some more community center stuff because we got our summer crops done. And I'm not worrying about cooking still because I don't have to. I still have another year to go. And yeah, that's easy. I mean, we need coal. I know we need a lot of coal. So we'll probably spend pretty much all of our money on coal today. What else? Tappers. It's really just a matter of like finishing up that tree farm we have in the corner and building a shed to house the kegs. But I think once this tapper's on, we might be close to done with the trees that are alive. And then we have 5 more that are growing, or 6 more, I think. And yeah, I don't know. Later today, I just have more garden prep to do. We're getting kind of close to planting season, I guess. It's the 1st of May, so we can maybe start planting in a couple weeks, maybe a month. It kind of depends on what the weather looks like. We get those like really heavy, wet snowstorms in late May sometimes. So occasionally it'll push back when we can actually put stuff outside. So that's why seasons, like our season system, is so unreliable. Or at least when you typically think of like spring, you don't think of a snowstorm. At least where I live you do, but when you learn about seasons in schools, I guess you don't. I'm rearranging this stuff again. I want to start kind of making the farm look decent. I've still like been slacking a lot when it comes to the design aspect. So eventually we'll get it nicer looking. I usually put all my buildings in that bottom right hand corner. And it just makes it easy when I have to visit all of them at once. I could just jet down there, grab all the eggs and milk and the sheds. Or wine, you know. Eventually I'll probably get rid of the animals. I might have like a little section at the bottom for a coop, but a barn is not very valuable for what I like to do. Like I don't make cheese, I don't age anything ever. There's really no point in aging most of the time, at least for me. Like I know it's worth more, but like it just takes, it's a whole month to age wine, a couple weeks to age cheese, and I don't want to do that, so I don't really need cows, I don't need goats, once the community center is done at least. And I was thinking like this farm, once I'm done with this like perfection run, this will probably be my like main farm once 1.6 comes out. So once like next, or I guess once winter rolls around, we'll get it into like its final form. Because I can't imagine we'll need a ton of money for a 1.6. Like I don't know what it will be that gets added with the content upgrade or update. But yeah, I can't imagine it'll be like I need a ton of money, you know. So like I don't think we'll do like a huge factory farm like we normally do. We'll just stock up on whatever materials we have. Maybe get a shed with all of our chests so they're not just out in the open. Get another shed that has all of our like processing equipment. Like all the furnaces, for example. I don't know, that's a lot later down the line though. Right now we don't really have any major future plans. We just have, I think we have to go to the caverns maybe once or twice more to afford the next starfruit crop. And then after that, pumpkins are really cheap. It's only like 100k for a full field of pumpkins, as opposed to like 500k for a full field of starfruit. So our money needs go down a lot, which means our caverns needs go down a ton. I want to do a lot of crystallariums. Like at some point I want to have like around 50 crystallariums just to get jade production up. And once we have a ton of jade, it'll make the days that we do go to the skull caverns really quick. Just because we can staircase down, a couple hundred floors and make the most out of it instead of having to struggle through the first few floors. And yeah, in this one, I went ahead and just fast forwarded right to the end of it. Or the last couple hours at least. And this was a decent enough run. It kind of, I think it'll cover, well, maybe we'll do one more run right after this in the caverns, and that'll cover our money. Because I think our harvest is going to be on like the 17th? I think that's when it is. I don't know. All I know is I need that money sooner than later. The harvest is either the 17th or the 18th, and then we'll replant again. And our last harvest will be pretty close to the end of the year, or end of the season. And then that's when we'll put all of our wheat down to carry over our deluxe speed grow into next season. And then eventually we'll start, I think we're going to want to start farming out the burglar ring soon. And then we'll start farming out maybe the savage ring and get closer to taking care of those monster eradication goals. But it will be maybe a couple days, a couple weeks even, before we start doing that. It's a lot easier to do once we have upgraded weapons from Ginger Island, but the burglar ring is particularly valuable once you get into the mine, or the volcano mines. Just because you can get more dragon's teeth and some of the rarer items there. Like eventually we'll have a lucky ring combined with an iridium ring, and then another lucky ring combined with a burglar ring. And that'll probably be our ring combination that we use. Maybe a napalm ring once in a while, just because they're kind of fun. That when the enemies die, they explode. And this is another day, by the way, I skipped ahead. And yeah, you can see I'm just like not very good with the slingshot. I just don't quite have it in me. And part of it is when I play on a controller, I use the D-pad because I think it feels more natural to move around a 2D world with the D-pad. But when I use the slingshot, I have to use the analog stick to get better angles. And it makes it a little awkward to switch back and forth. Because you can move around with the D-pad or the analog stick, but I just think it feels kind of weird. I don't know. I played another game recently. I can't remember what it was called. It's like an alpha or a beta. And the controls, like, their D-pad controls feel super awful, so I ended up having to return it. It's like another farming sim I was trying to get into, but maybe if they fix the controls, I'll try it again. What was that called? I can't really have I'll just pull up Steam really quick and find out. Because the game looks fun. Oh, Research Story. It's called Research Story. And I liked the concept of it, and I like how simple it all looks. But the controls, for me, are particularly awful, so I couldn't get into it. Oh yeah, we also decided to expand our farm a little bit more. Kind of last minute, but we had the time and bad luck, so we added a couple more sprinklers worth of iridium, and that'll be harvested once. And so like there'll be a little time period where like those crops will be fully grown and I just don't touch them. But that's just because I like to harvest everything all at once. And I think that'll be, maybe that's not tomorrow. Maybe our second harvest is later than I thought. It could be all the way up to the 20th, I think. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what it would be, but it doesn't really matter. I may have had to like even reset this day if my harvest is tomorrow. No, it's not. I don't know what I'm thinking. I just know it's coming up. And we have enough starfruit seeds now, so it doesn't really matter. Or at least we have money. God, I'm so lazy. I'm like, I could just take the bus home and it's almost exactly the same speed. But it's just easier to hit A on a totem. At one point or another, I will have like probably a couple hundred totems, just because I'll do the casino tricks. And then totems, and then like travel will be completely obsolete, I guess, because I'll just constantly be toteming around or warping around. I don't know why I'm saying toteming. But yeah, because once I have a casino in wintertime, ooh, actually, you know what? I won't be able to, because I don't have a rainbow shell. I forgot to grab a rainbow shell. So a casino will have to wait quite some time. That's a bummer. Anyway, yeah, once I do that, I'll just gamble a bunch until I can afford a ton of totems. And that way I don't have to buy the return scepter either, because that's way too expensive for what it does. I mean, eventually I will get the return scepter, but it's not necessary now just because, yeah, it's just not worth it. And I don't really know what I'm doing right now. I think I was going to start trying to kill some dust sprites and maybe farm up a little bit of iron ore. That's the only thing I can think of. That's the only reason I would be down here. But I don't know what. Obviously it's not iron, otherwise I would have went and got that iron. When I actually do dust sprite farming, I'll do it much more efficiently. I'll do a lot of this where I'm like going back and forth in the elevator, but I'll use the pause buffering when I do it. But it's basically just resetting floors over and over again until you find a good floor and killing dust sprites for an entire day. And yeah, so that's kind of what I did. I guess we have our first batch of Starfruit wine. It's not very much, but it's something, I guess. We won't actually sell it until wintertime, just because we have to switch our professions. And like right now we're using the profession that, or I think it's called agriculturalist, which allows our crops to grow a little bit faster. And that's what lets us get an extra harvest of the pumpkins and starfruit a little faster. So I think I have my shed ready today. Yeah, I do. So we'll get those placed and start building up our collection of kegs. Eventually, all of these kegs will be moved into a large shed, and then again they'll be moved into the quarry once I have the quarry. And I'll get that all set up by basically bombing the whole thing out and then setting up floors and then all my kegs. And that way none of my production stuff is like too much of an eyesore on my farm. If I might have an additional shed for kegs on the farm if I want to really do a lot of processing fast. But I'm not in a huge rush to process all of my starfruit quite yet. Oh, I guess I needed a little bit more starfruit. So, whatever. We have it now. There's a little tiny dog. Somewhere near me, a tiny dog lives. And it gets easily spooked, I guess. And it's just barking all the time. Like if somebody walks by, it barks. If you like close a door too hard, it'll start barking. I don't know whose it is, but it's a very, I don't know, I kind of feel bad for it. Like it's annoying, but like, I don't know. I feel bad when dogs are constantly barking because they're like obviously nervous or scared or something. What am I doing here? I'm just cutting trees. I need wood. I don't have anything else to do. I could do a huge tree farm here and spend a lot of time and effort cutting trees down. But during the first year, wood is so cheap and I'll have so much extra money that I will probably just buy it. There's not a whole lot of value in spending like a 20-minute day chopping down trees, except for getting my foraging level up. So I might do a little bit more tree chopping and we'll see how that goes, but I'll probably just buy like 10,000 wood from Robin in fall and then like another 10,000 in winter. And that'll get me most of what I need. I don't know how much wood I actually need for all the kegs I want to build, but I'm still sort of bottlenecked by the oak resin. So it doesn't really matter. Oh yeah, here I am chopping more trees, so. Oh, and I got, the rest of those trees grew in, so that's nice. So I just need a few more tappers, and then we're done with oak resin. I think I still need an apple too. I'm missing an apple for the community center. Otherwise, like that cave has not been really doing much for me. It's still better than the mushroom cave, because the mushroom cave is always bad, at least in my opinion. But the fruit cave just hasn't been doing that well. At one point, like I definitely will just stop checking it because I won't need anything from it. And like it's nice that it'll up my foraging level a tiny bit. But other than that, like I don't need to go in there to pick up some spice berries. It just doesn't make sense. And yeah, just a couple more kegs. And we're pretty much done with this episode, I guess. We have tons of Yeah, I think we're gonna just sell pumpkins. I don't think we need to process them. We still have plenty of money coming in, plenty of bars that we could sell. And I'm also playing on PC now, so we should have no more like performance problems, so that'll be nice.